Okay, and I am here with another Shimmerz Paints design team layout. I'm also combining this with Christy's Beautiful Life, 30 Days of Sketches, Series 12. This is the sketch that I will be creating with today, and it is by Shannon Allure. I also have my little notes that says this is a Shimmerz project. This was an absolute perfect sketch to add a bunch of mixed media to it. So here is my single photo. I'm using one photo instead of two like Shannon asked for. And then I pulled out some Dusty Attic goodies. This one is Industrial Cluster number 4. I also have Industrial Cluster number 5, and my lighting must be so bright that I have to kind of cover a little bit to shade it in order for you guys to get it to see. And then these really cool circles don't have a name, so I don't really remember what they're called. I apologize about that. I have a circle stencil that is by Pear Tree Cut Files. So that is their website right there if you guys can see it. I have 2 film strips that get set off to the side and completely forgot about, so let's pretend like I never showed you. And then from Tim Holtz, I have backdrops, and it is a 6 by 10 sheets of really cool distressed paper that were gifted to me. And then of course I have my ink dauber and some walnut stain ink and my distress tool. So on to the really cool shimmers. I have colorings in Don't Be Swayed. Again, I can't get this camera. I've never had focusing issues before, you guys. Vibes in Hot Fudge, and the brand new Color Splash in Penny in Your Pocket. I get these two confused because I have Penny for Your Thoughts too, so they're both my favorite. I have Inklings Burnished Buckle, Inklings Tarnished Treasure, Blings in Spiced Cider, Shimmers in Antique Lace, and Inklings Penny for Your Thoughts. The Shimmers Antique Lace is my favorite. Actually, I need to get a new one. Just saying. So I'm going to quickly go through all of these papers, and I do make a quick decision, but I'm not entirely sure if that one piece of paper that I keep going back to is what it's going to be, and yep, it is. So I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't, a close second type of deal. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off, and of course they're 10 inches long, so I have to pull out my big trimmer. Yep. I had a couple questions about this big trimmer, by the way, while I am cutting up my strips, and it is a Caterpillar, but it doesn't come with the white grid and numbers. You have to do that yourself. And what I did was I took some white paint and a little silicone, it's like a squeegee. It's very, very small. And I smushed the paint into all the grooves and then wiped it up so the paint would stay down and not be on top of my board. And then all the paint stayed inside the groove. So that's what I ended up doing, you guys. I've just had a couple questions ever since I started pulling it into the camera. So just thought I'd let you know, it is a Caterpillar. I just painted the numbers so I could see them. Old lady eyes going on. So I'm going to go ahead and use my same papers to matte my photo. I just used the cream as a really close matte, and then I made the peach one a little bit bigger because I planned on distressing it. Now, I promise you guys these distress tools are going to come back, but I've got a huge project coming up in the shop that, in all honesty, I am kind of waiting for that before I put other stuff up that's been in the queue, if that makes any sense. So the first thing I do for all my mixed media backgrounds is I lay out my design. The one thing you don't want to do is spend a lot of time making this gorgeous background and then you end up covering it all up because you didn't account for your design. So I make sure that I have basically my entire layout put together before I start working on the background. I know it's a lot of upfront work, but it also will make you a lot happier in your mixed media when you realize you don't need to do that much mixed media. Also, too, it's going to make you a lot more happier when you don't have to keep going back to add to your gorgeous mixed media because you didn't make into account. So I went ahead and I distressed all my edges of these really cool strips of paper, put it all together. This is what my design is going to look like. And then after I find a pencil, because my room is still a hot mess, but we're going to continue on. And I'm going to outline the sides as well as the top and bottom. Now this is a vertical design, so I want to make sure that I stay on the top and bottom, and I did my sides just so I knew how far not to go. So I wanted to keep it within that area, and make sure that it goes up and down and not left to right. I definitely wanted to draw some attention over on the left in that cute little design over there, but it does end up not being so little anymore, but it's still cute. So I started off with my Blings in Spiced Cider, and that is such a yummy color, you guys. It is a beautiful soft brown. Now, one of the things I also get asked is if I gesso. I do not gesso. So I don't even worry about blending colors and mixing colors and doing all that good stuff, you guys. I just work with wet medium very, very fast. And so it does not have time. It soaks into the paper, not going to lie there. When you turn this over, it's totally soaked. You can see it where I keep adding and adding and adding. It is totally soaked. But what I don't do is I don't brush the paper. I don't pill the paper up. I am just laying color into color. I'm laying it down, excuse me, on top of each other and not actually painting the paper, if that makes any sense. And so once I get that down, that's going to be kind of like the center of my design. I'm going to let that dry because yes, it was very wet. And then go ahead and paint my chipboard, because chipboard soaks up paint just as fast as paper, because chipboard's just thousands of layers of paper, right? So I'm going to go ahead and get these started. Also, one of the things that I have noticed with this particular type of chipboard is that when I do use a wet paint, it does end up if I use heat to it to help it dry, it does end up separating the layers. So I definitely want to get all of these painted and then set them off to the side to dry so I don't end up separating the layers. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of my circles and paint them with antique lace. You guys, this entire project used my entire bottle. Just because I love this color very much. It is just a beautiful, beautiful color. The picture on the website or the shop for Shimmerz does it no justice. It is just a beautiful color, you guys. You have to see it in person in order to really appreciate it. Just saying, it's gorgeous. It's got that peachy, creamy color that is to die for. All right, so I'm taking some tarnished treasure and painting all of my numbers as well as the chevron. And I don't care if I stay in the lines. Part of it's not even going to be seen. Oh, I paint the hook too, if you guys needed to know that. And then I'm going to take Penny for Your Thoughts. See, I keep getting those two mixed up. And I'm going to paint my gears. And I'm trying to work super fast before the color soaks into the chipboard, so that way I get that grungy bleeding into each other effect. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some more burnished buckle and just paint the chains and the pulleys for my, what are those called now? Hooks. And then I'm going to go back in with some antique lace and paint my circles to match the other circles. So once I've got that going, I totally forgot to move my camera out, so I apologize, but I'm going to very quickly add a little bit of stenciling using my walnut stain ink, and I mean just super quick. It is that super easy. Ta-da, we're all done. And then I'm going to go back in and add some more antique lace to soften up all of these edges around my burnished buckle and my spiced cider. I also wanted to get a little bit of that distressed walnut stain into the antique lace, so that way it kind of grunged it up a little bit, or dirtied it, I guess, so dirtied the lace, because the ink reacts in water. So I wanted to get that. And again, because my paper is not gessoed and I won't be able to get the blend and everything is already dried, I do have to go in a little heavy-handed in order to get it to soften the edges that are already there. So once I get the background that you don't see, the way that I wanted it, because I could see it, I'm going to set that off to the side to dry yet again. I'm going to come back with some more chipboard pieces because I decided I wanted a few extra gears. Those 3 little gears on each of my little numbered pieces just weren't, that's not enough gears for me. So I'm coming back in with Penny for Your Thoughts and going to go ahead and paint these. Now, Penny for Your Thoughts is one of my favorite colors in ink. And so when I saw that the new color, excuse me, when the new color splash came in and there was a Penny in Your Pocket, that was like the first one on my list. Like, I have to have that. And can I just have 6 bottles like right now? So yeah, I don't have 6 bottles, but that's really what I wanted. Okay, so I remembered to zoom back out. Yay! That's a bonus for me. I get a brownie point for today. But I had trouble with my ATG gun. Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what happened, but the rest of my roll is like ripped in several spaces. It was annoying. And so I wanted to hurry up and finish getting these strips down. But then I realized, dang it, I wasted all that ATG because I really wanted to put this on foam dots because I'm going to tuck all of these chipboard pieces. There's no way I could have adhered that straight to the page. So yeah, I'm going to cut some foam and get that popped up. I'm also going to add my picture to the top of this. I don't know why I haven't done that yet. But I just want to make sure that there is enough space down at the bottom for the 2 chipboard pieces that I wanted to add. So here's the paper. I haven't quite given up on that ATG yet, but that was not my favorite. I've never had that happen before. I'm gonna definitely contact the company because there was still a lot of life left in that, and I just felt like it was totally unusable. I really do. So I'm gonna see what they say. I don't know when, probably tomorrow, but I definitely will be contacting the company and asking what in the world, because that's not cool. That was a lot of life still left in that tape roll. So I'm going to go ahead and use liquid glue to glue everything down because yes, my paper is slightly warped. And I say slightly because it's not, it doesn't bother me. None of this buckling and bulging bothers me at all, because everything ends up going in an album and laying flat anyways. So it just doesn't get to me, even when I put the pieces together. Now, when it is super uber warpy, that does kind of bother me because then I can't lay everything out like I like to do. But in this case, I really wanted to use all of these pieces to enhance my background. None of this is actually embellishing yet. I have not even started embellishing. I'm still working on the background, even though I've put some of my layout together. I'm still messing around with the background. So I'm going to go ahead and chop up one of my circle bits to try and get the pieces to go where I want them to. And then I decided to take one of the other bigger number pieces, and I know I covered most of it up. I get that. I wasn't expecting to do that. It was just a design that I wanted. I really liked how it looked, and I went with it. I just decided, yep, that's the way that it's going to go. And so I'm going to go for it. So I went ahead and put that piece of paper onto my numbers. And then I was just chopping up the last little circle background thing, background design, so that way I could get it to work where I wanted it to, in all essence. So again, liquid glue, trying to get all that stuff down. Now I did take the paper and just use ATG to get it to actually adhere to the chipboard, because that one, it's just paper on top of paper. So it worked out really well. I didn't really need liquid glue on top of that. I'm going to go ahead and glue my little dots down. The best thing about this glue, you guys, is that it's an instant stick. It is so cool. I love that stuff. Okay, so my husband picked out these, the good stuff, as a title, and it's too big. I feel really bad, but it's too big. And then I tried to use this photo, and again, I just really didn't like it. And I think I didn't like bringing in the black. I think that that's what it was. So I went in and found this word from Heidi Swap that says authentic, and just went ahead and added that right where Shannon suggested to put a title. And now I'm going to have my background come forward by bringing in some of these gears. And I'm having them like touch the edges, so that way it looks like the gears are spilling onto, like coming from the back forward, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then I had these cute little, what looks like bolt heads, but they have plus signs on them, so that's kind of weird. But yeah, they look like little bolt heads, and I'm going to go ahead and add those as well. And then I'm going to take my Vibes in Hot Fudge and go ahead and just rub the edge of it, the edge of my paper with just with the tube to get a small little edge. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect touch every single time. I love how distressed it is. I love just that tiny little line that this tube puts on there. Now, I did have my chipboard a little bit too close to the edge here, so I do have a little bit of struggle, but it all works out in the end because it's supposed to be all grungy and really cool. So I do have some, I'm going to do some splattering. So I'm going to take the Color Splash in Penny in Your Pocket and go ahead and splatter those around. I love this stuff. It is the perfect touch to the end. And I do like how some of it goes on the paper as well. And lastly, I'm going to take my colorings in Don't Be Swayed and go ahead and add the splatter there. Now, the one thing that this splatter does for me is it lessens the white space, especially when this is a very grungy layout, but I used a plain white background. I didn't go for cream because cream would have changed the color. It would have made it too dark, I think. And so I just love the fact that all of this was put on white, and the splattering helped contain that white and lessen it for me, so I could handle all that white space. But I absolutely love how this turned out. I want to thank Shannon for this fabulous layout. I had a blast creating with it. Also, too, there are 2 links down below. Actually, there's 3 links, but the first 2 are for Christy's Beautiful Life, the playlist where everyone is hanging out and showing off their YouTube videos. The second one is the Facebook group where everyone is hanging out and sharing their photos of each creation, which gives you plenty of ideas per sketch. So it's awesome. There's a little bit of everything for everyone. And of course, the third one is for the Shimmerz Paints website. So you've got the blog over there. You've got the shop over there. It is just fabulous, all of the goodies that are over there on the Shimmerz website. So don't forget to check that out. If you do place an order, don't forget to mention my name in the comments at checkout, and Shimmerz Paints will give you a little gifty that says, hey, thanks for finding us through one of our design team members. That is awesome. Kudos for everyone. And everybody loves a freebie, right? So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my little spiel and watching me create an amazing background, because I had a blast, you guys. I really did. I love making my own backgrounds. I just have too much paper, like pattern paper, to continue to make my own backgrounds, if that makes any sense. So anyways, thank you so much, and I will check y'all later.